Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3336. Today's date is 18th of February 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10:21 p.m. Alright, what exactly happened today? Uh, Nothing really. Yeah, today I wake up morning at maybe 8 a.m. Yeah, since I wake up, I decided to start reading. So I was kind of like reading a book, my book by the way. Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna tell you everything regarding about my book. Okay, like basically is this thing that key things that I record like artifact. I converted those audio artifact into text file and make it a kind of like a assembly book. I have so many files. Okay, yeah, because I'm kind of like a recording such thing since 2015. So I have almost like a 3,000 files, more than that. So I just transcribed audio into text, and I was like kind of like a reading those artifact. Why? I need to understand my thought process. Like it's been almost like a 10 year, like since 2015. It's a 2025, so it's been 10 year. My thought process change. I have to be understand that what is actually artifact and what is actually means to me, and I need to know everything regarding about this thing. Okay, like the process that I'm kind of like a started a self talk. I need to understand the gravity of it. How do I supposed to improve myself? I am improving myself, but still I need to be make sure. I need to be. I don't know. I just like I haven't really listened those previous artifact, and right now this is kind of like a some moment to read my artifact instead of listen, because listen takes time, because each artifact takes almost like a half an hour. So but reading is a kind of like a simply a very complex a short form of that. So I have to be understand. I don't know how do I'm not really sure, but I was kind of like a something reading. It felt really good. Then after that I was started doing my designings and graphics and stuff like that. I done that too. Okay. As also is this thing, I have to be make sure that the strategy regarding about the Instagram. In YouTube I have to make sure that I have to be upload every single day, that is for sure. Instagram I have to be upload twice in a day. Right now I'm actually uploading every single day, but is this thing that uh, engagement is get little less. Okay, and this is what actually happened because of the I took almost like a week of gap. Okay, yeah. So what is actually week of gap means like that ki like all those files that I scheduled to upload on the Instagram, it kind of like a scheduling as its own time, but I haven't really done any of those work. Okay, yeah, for last week. But since today, okay, yeah, I have to make sure that I have to be upload like upload means like that, yeah, I have to edit my designs twice in a day. I have to upload once till I get almost like a 1 week of gap. When I get 1 week of gap, a 1 week of gap means like that a 1 week, so that all those videos are kind of like assembly uploading every single day automatically. Okay, yeah. And if I know that there is a kind of like a assembly gap that all those videos are scheduled to upload, then after that I have to be upload twice in a day. Okay, yeah. So it will get kind of like a some relaxation for me, so that I would kind of like a relaxation means like a breathing space. Okay, yeah. I already knew that it's been almost like a 7 days to be, yeah. So I don't know, yeah, but I wanted to upload twice in a day. So that means, yeah, it's a lot of fucked up thing. All right, yeah. Then there is also another thing. Okay, yeah. I went to work out. Okay, yeah, and I met one of my oldest friend, Sergeant Thamke. Sergeant Thamke is like like how do I supposed to describe this person? He's a really good person, by the way. Okay, yeah. he is a kind of, he's married, and he is a kind of like a doing a job in hospital, kind of like a some sort of administration stuff like that. Okay, yeah. By the way, he has also Instagram, and he run his channel, run his Instagram handle. He has almost like a 86,000 followers. And I was like, what the fuck is that? 86,000. By the way, he was kind of like a doing this thing almost like a 5 year. Okay, yeah, so that is really good. But 86,000, that is like a really crazy number. Okay, yeah. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that? Okay, yeah. But it's really good, it's really great. Okay, yeah. By the way, his content is something different, like a vlogging, or I don't know, yeah, something like a basically doing mimicry or something like that. Like yeah. um I was actually talking to him regarding about how he achieved this thing, and does he get paid to do this thing, or kind of like a simply collaborate some sort of brand endorsement. He haven't really done that stuff. So yeah, probably it's good, yeah. But I was kind of like a something there is a one thing that I wanted to realize by myself. Okay, that key I achieve almost like a 10,000 followers. Okay, it's not really that big deal, but I think that it's a big deal because I haven't really seen any more kind of like a something channel which is actually more than that. Okay, more than that means like that a person that I personally know who has kind of like a something more than 10,000 follower. I didn't really know any of those kind of like a something person. I met Sergeant Tamke. I know that person, and he has almost like 86,000 follower. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so he's a kind of like a somebody. Is this thing reality? Is a kind of like a somebody so something that you won't be able to expect. Whatever. So I realized that ki how deep am I? Like I am kind of like a somebody very at bottom level. So I have to be kind of like a push my socks and kind of like somebody doing the stuff because like just imagine a dude, like it's been I'm 31. Okay, yeah, after 6 months I will be 32. And like it's been almost like a 6 year, like 5.5 hours I'm actually staying at home, and I'm not really earning any money, living with my parents. Like how pathetic I am. Okay, yeah. But I have to be like this year I have to make that year as good as possible as I can. So I have to be put lot of effort this year. Okay, so this year is a really essential for me. So yeah, I have a plan that I have to be uploaded twice in a day. Okay, yeah. And just I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm gonna try as my best as I can. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna upload, and not I'm gonna kind of like a simply improve my quality as well as too. All right, yeah. Okay. uh all right, let's ask questions. All right, let's go. All right, hello. Okay, so question is, what is the link between form and function in the biological creature? Okay, yeah, that's a really good question. Okay, first of all, where is this question came from? Okay. Um okay, so a couple of days ago, sorry, couple of weeks ago, I was actually watching the Demons of Leonardo. It's a web series, by the way. This web series is actually based on Leonardo da Vinci. If you don't really know who is that person, he is the person who draw the Mona Lisa world famous painting. Okay, yeah. He is not just a painter, he is like a master of multiple things. While I was watching that particular show, I was literally influenced by his thought process, the way that he think, and I wanted to think like him. So I went to the chat GPT and kind of like ask that suggest me such a question so that I would think like Leonardo da Vinci. Okay, yeah. So this is one of those questions. The question says, what is the link between the form and function in biological creature? Okay, yeah. Okay, so if you don't really understand this question, um, okay, yeah. Okay, so what is actually form and what is actually the function? Okay, yeah. So let's consider me. Okay, yeah, I am kind of like a something person. I am a human. Okay, yeah. So I am kind of like a something a living person. All right, yeah, a living thing, right? Yeah, I am living thing. I am a human. I'm a living thing. Okay, yeah. So this is called kind of like a simply a form. Okay, yeah. A kind of like a form means like that. A kind of like some sort of species, a form. Okay, yeah. Like basically, if I'm gonna say form means like that, every species, every living thing. Okay, like a plant or bird or reptile or anything that is called kind of like a simply a form. Okay, yeah. And now function. A function means like that, what is actually their purpose, what is actually their is example, like I am a form and what is actually my function. Okay, yeah, like from what is actually function. Okay, yeah, function means like that, a purpose, a purpose from not your point of perspective, a purpose from nature point of perspective. What do you mean? Okay, yeah. So okay, so let me simplify. I am a person, I am a human being. All right, yeah. So I am a form. Okay, yeah. So what is actually my function? What is actually my purpose? My purpose might be kind of like a simply be grateful in my career and things and stuff like that. I'm gonna earn a lot of money, something like that. No, this is not your purpose. Like, this is your purpose, but nature has kind of like a giving a particular purpose to the particular species. As a human, what kind of like a simply purpose from nature point of perspective is reproduction. Yeah, like basically is this thing, if I am kind of like a something exist on this planet, it has some sort of purpose, and that purpose is that, yeah, I have to kind of like a something improve, like a create a new generation. Okay, yeah, a kind of like a something reproduction. Okay, yeah, this is my kind of like a something a purpose. Okay, yeah, reproduction, then taking care of that particular child, and that child would kind of like a simply create another birth in the planet of this. So this is kind of like a simply purpose. Okay, yeah, so that is called kind of like a simply a function. Okay, yeah. So do you get it? Okay, yeah. If you don't really get it now, I'm gonna give you another example. Okay, yeah. Example is this thing tiger. Let's say tiger. Okay, yeah. So tiger is a form, right? Yeah. So what is actually the function, a purpose, a kind of like a reproduction? Yeah, probably, but it's not. Like it is, yeah. Like basically, yes, definitely, reproduction is really essential for the like improve the next generation of things like that. Yeah, but this is not just only thing. Okay, yeah, every species not only just a reproduction, but it has kind of like a some sort of purpose or some sort of function. What exactly is this that? Okay, yeah. So um from this, like if I'm gonna tell you regarding about that stuff, you have to be think very different point of perspective. Okay, and it's a very wider perspective. Okay, yeah, you have to think from kind of like something god perspective. A god means like that, the god who create this nature and things like that, so you have to think like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. What exactly is this thing? What is it like that? Okay, so let's say eagle. Okay, yeah. So eagle is a kind of like a something a form, right? Yes. So what is actually their function? Okay, yeah. A reproduction, yes, definitely, yeah. But there is also another thing is that he usually eagles are kind of like a something a very little bit of carnivorous bird. Am I sure? Am I right or not? I'm not really sure, but yeah, probably is this thing that eagles are kind of like a something doing a such a thing, which kind of like a something like whoever the animal or any kind of like a something animal who is actually dead. Okay, yeah. So basically, eagles can eat that particular thing, eat that particular dead animal and things like that, dead animal skin and something like that. Why? Is because of that ki it kind of like a something, I don't know, like eagles are alive in that particular process of doing this thing. Still, I'm not really sure. Okay, yeah. Let's say bacteria. Yeah, if I'm gonna say bacteria. So what is actually purpose of bacteria? Bacteria is also kind of like a assembly form. Okay, yeah. So bacteria is a kind of like a something eating something very tiny stuff. Okay, yeah. Like okay, it's kind of like something very hard to explain to you, but okay, yeah. Let's say plant. Okay, yeah, like right now in front of me there is a mango tree. Okay, yeah. So what is actually the, like a mango tree is also a form, it's a living thing, right? Yeah. So what is actually the function of this mango tree? Okay, yeah. So mango tree means like that it gives this mango. Okay, yeah. But you shouldn't supposed to be think like your point of perspective. Okay, yeah. A mango, but is this thing that it kind of like a something emit the oxygen and consume the carbon dioxide, which kind of like a something balance the earth atmosphere and stuff like that. I'm not talking about just this mango tree. No, there is lot of trees, okay, who are kind of like a sucking the carbon dioxide and emitting the oxygen from doing this thing. Okay, yeah. Which kind of like a something help us as a humans to survive, because we really require oxygen and we emit the carbon dioxide. Okay, yeah. We won't be able to survive if just CO2. No, we can't. We really require oxygen. Okay, yeah. Plant is kind of like a doing such a thing inversely, so that we are kind of like something alive. It kind of like something help us to another species to survive. Okay, yeah. uh, Another example is this thing that uh, like how do I supposed to say, like basically is this thing, like every species are kind of like a something connected to each other. Okay, yeah. Like let's say photosynthesis. Yeah, let's say photosynthesis. So this plant, this mango tree, he has a kind of like a something function, a purpose. Okay, yeah. A purpose of kind of like a something is this thing, create a food from light source, like the sunlight. Okay, yeah. And that food is actually created by the photosynthesis process. Okay, yeah. Because of that particular food, we actually see the mangoes. Okay, we ate the mangoes and things like that. Okay, yeah. But we are like a, like basically not just the mangoes, but kind of like a something, these mango trees are kind of like a something help us to kind of like a giving a shadow, not only shadow but as also other animal like a monkeys, or kind of like a somebody goat, or another kind of like somebody animal, or any kind of like a stuff who's kind of like a eating particular leaves and things like that. They are also meant to be survive. As also is this saying, they have kind of like a somebody very bigger branches and things like that, which is also really essential for resident for monkeys and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. So that they meant to be survive. If they are, if the monkeys are kind of like something on the floor, they might not gonna survive and things like that. So basically is this thing, every plant, not just this mango trees, but every kind of like a trees has its own function. Okay, yeah. And they are actually kind of like a something serving that function to kind of like a continue this nature cycle. Okay, yeah. Let's say is this thing that like the nuclear winter happened. What's a nuclear winter? A nuclear winter means like that the sun is actually covered by the cloud. Okay, yeah. So we won't be able to see sun anymore at all for almost like a 6 months. Okay, yeah. So then winter cloud is actually happened, sorry, winter, nuclear winter is actually happened. Okay, yeah. There are a lot of things regarding about how this nuclear winter happened. I'm not gonna talk about that. Okay, let's say just a nuclear winter is actually happened. So when the sunlight is not available, then this plant, this tree will not gonna create that photosynthesis process, will not gonna create that particular food. Okay, yeah. If that mango tree didn't really create the food, we won't be able to survive. As also other animal who is actually depend on this mango tree will not gonna survive. Obviously they are not gonna eat mangoes, but they actually eat some sort of leaves and stuff like that. Okay, yeah. As also branches. Okay, yeah. Like if the trees is not kind of like a create that photosynthesis, it will not create the food. And if it not create the food, then probably this plant will gonna die. And probably the monkeys who are kind of like a something a resident, like a kind of like a something living space, they also kind of like a something not, they don't want to be live here because the plant is dying, nothing really at all. So probably is this thing na ki everything is broke. Okay, yeah. Every food chain cycle is kind of like simply broke. Okay, yeah. And each food cycle is actually depend on each species, and that kind of like something serving a purpose in this kind of like a nature world. Okay, we all are connected to each other, we don't really knew it, but we are like basically it's this thing. If the plant are kind of like a stop sucking the CO2, then probably we won't be able to we won't be able to alive, we won't be able to survive on this planet. Okay, yeah, nothing really at all. Okay, so every species had its own purpose to kind of like create the ecosystem. Okay, and that ecosystem is really essential for kind of like a something serving the kind of like a something is saying that key like developing this mother nature. Okay, yeah, like this is what kind of like a something form and function every form has its own function. Okay, yeah, that function has to be set regarding about what they want, what is exactly kind of like a stuff is essential for them. Okay, yeah, not only for them but kind of like a something for nature. All right, yeah. So yeah, this is what it is. But let me tell you one thing now ki um, humans are kind of like a something disturbing that ecosystem. Okay, what is exactly that? So how does we actually disturbing that ecosystem is because of the pollution that we created, the plastic pollution, everything example. Okay, yeah. So when the rain is actually happen, okay, yeah, rain is actually fall on the surface of kind of like a something earth. Okay, yeah. So whatever kind of like a something water is kind of like a something suck inside into the water, and which kind of like a something help us to grow more and more plants. Okay, yeah. But right now we are creating such a pollution where plastic are kind of like a covered with floor. So not only plastic but add also kind of like a something asphalt road, or kind of like a something the big cities and stuff like that. So because of this thing, this kind of like a something earth floor bed didn't really get that much water. So it kind of like a something big impact on our ecosystem regarding about plants, that they don't really get that much water, not only just a water but as also lot of things too. Okay, yeah, like if I'm gonna say take an example as a New York. Okay, yeah, like if you went to New York, like I haven't really been on New York, but still if you went to the New York, you haven't really seen that many trees. Like besides National Park, sorry, Central Park, you haven't really seen that many trees. Is because of that this entire city is actually covered by the cement and asphalt and stuff like that. So this is what kind of like something is this thing. Okay, but wait, is it wrong if this thing is actually happened, is it wrong? Well, okay, yeah, it not wrong. Okay, yeah, but it wrong for a very specific portion. What do you mean by that? So let me tell you one thing na ki having more and more plant around you, that means kind of they are actually sucking a lot of CO2s, and they are kind of having so much oxygen. Okay, yeah, like right now I am kind of living in such a area at my home, which is actually kind of surrounded by the lot of trees, which kind of something help me to get lot more oxygen. Okay, yeah, and CO2 is kind of a little less. This is what actually happened because it has a lot of trees. Example, like imagine that if you are in the New York, and then probably is this thing you see kind of a something very concrete jungle. Concrete jungle means like that, like a far more building, and you haven't really seen any kind of a something plant. This kind of something very toxic for you. Why? Because of that key basically cities are kind of mostly are polluted. Okay, it has kind of a high concentration of CO2, and if there is no kind of there is less trees are available, then which is kind of something very dangerous for our human health and things like that, because the atmosphere will not gonna regulate CO2 and oxygen very rapidly. Because yeah, let me tell you one thing na, air is actually passed through from one place to another place. So yeah, the New Yorker will not gonna die that much easily just because of that not having trees, nothing really at all. But still is this thing having little less oxygen around them, which kind of something little bit something dangerous for like for babies or older people. I'm not really sure, but still it kind of like a something taking some sort of abrupt of ecosystem and stuff like that. And this is kind of like a, something one of the basic thing, by the way. Okay, yeah. So every form has its own function regarding about what they should supposed to do in this nature cycle. Okay, yeah. And it's essential, na, yeah. So yeah, probably. Well, I haven't really think about that stuff, but it's something really good. Probably forms and function. I haven't really explored that thing, but still, it kind of like a forms and function are really helpful for kind of like a something ecosystem and stuff like that. Probably. All right. Yeah. There are a couple of pointers are here. Okay. Evolutionary optimization, natural selection. Yeah, natural selection. I already talk about natural selection process. Means like that nature is actually selecting some sort of species to do some sort of thing. What is that? Please this thing that brown bear and white bear. Okay, yeah, these are kind of like a some example of natural selection process. Okay, yeah, because brown bear won't able to survive at the cold winter. A white bear are kind of like a something having that much big fur, which is kind of like a something very good for surviving in the cold winter. So that's why brown winter, like a brown bear, kind of like a something you won't actually see the brown bear at junk at snow, and white bear are kind of like a something always be on snow, something like that. So yeah, then hierarchical organization. I'm not really sure what is at least this thing. Trade-off and constraint, like a energetic trade-off, development construction. I'm not really sure. Environmental adaptation, like a camouflage. I'm not really sure what is at least this thing. Function, yeah. Probably this thing the information that I have regarding about this kind of like a something form and function. I told you. Uh, Still I don't really have that much information regarding about that. All right, yeah. So this is it. I should supposed to be end here, and thank you.